Hi friends, welcome back to another video with me. My name is Cotton Candy Doll. If you're new here, welcome, welcome all. Hi, this is a shifting video. You might hear noises in the background. You might hear some insanely happy laughter. It's that time of day, just ignore it. So, I'm going to tell you guys what happened when I went back over to the My Hero Academia universe. Also, if it's a mess around me, I'm sorry. You probably noticed my poster board over there. That's going to be for my panel that I'm doing at Anime Senpai. And it's going to be an anime versus horror genre, which is really cool. So I just started watching Card Captor Sakura, and I really like how they're doing like the character development. It's really good. I like how she's already really good at everything, and then this comes along and it's kind of like so the story they don't really work hard. They kind of just it's an easy transitioning to everything, and I really like that about this anime. And I'm surprised I haven't watched it a long time ago, but not since Madoka Magica. I can't get that whole horror scene out of my head without. My best friend's trying to get me to watch another one. It's like an alternate universe of like the same thing. I don't girls that don't want to be magical girls anymore or something like that. Yeah, I've always wanted to be a magical girl, but I always modeled myself after Sailor Moon, so I was calling myself Sailor Maid for the longest time. I know it's so silly. I was calling myself Sailor Maid, and I kept saying, "By the name of the hammer, I will punish you." And I was basically going to make this huge hammer and use that and basically be Sailor Moon, but I decided not to do that. Yeah. Anyway, I just thought I would share that little fun bit with you guys before I jumped into the video. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I'm not trying to do a fast video either. I want to do a lot of explaining about Frodo's virtual party, how I'm going to do that. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it on YouTube or if I'm going to try and do it on a Twitch or I don't know how else I would do the party. Like, because what if I can't go live? I want to test it out. I sort of do, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, the last time I tried to go live, it didn't work out for me, and I wasn't able to like talk to you guys or get like I didn't have like my live question answers things that I wanted. So I'm really trying to be cautious about this. Also, Frodo's party, it might be pushed back to August. They're not going to be happy to hear that, but and I haven't revealed that to them yet. But I'm probably going to just tell them like, I'm too busy with work and actually working on those days, so I can't really do a virtual party. And I don't want to do half the party and not. Um, I don't want to be able to not do the whole party to be able to have to cut it short. Or I know it doesn't seem like I'm there that long because I tell you guys what happened, but in reality, I'm actually there for quite a while. I just tell you guys the important stuff that happens when I'm there. I don't tell you guys that I spend hours there. That I'm there for hours. It's what happens within those hours that happens. So I'm not going over there for a split second and coming back. I go there and I spend a good amount of time there, some hours, and then I come back after those hours. I mean, you got to think about the time frame between when things were happening. My whole hour to get the Hog's house, and then going all the way back. That's another hour. So that should kind of give you a clue right there that I'm going to be there. That I've been going there and been spending some real time there. Even earlier on, I watched one of my videos, and I usually only watch some of them if I feel like I don't know, maybe I left something out or I'm not adding enough or I didn't tell you enough about like someone or details. I usually try to once in a while go back and just check my videos out to make sure I'm describing everything down to a T, like all the details. And I noticed that like I said watching it from another point of view, I would think I was only there for maybe a couple minutes or maybe like the amount of time that I'm speaking to you, and it's actually been longer than that. Even when I was at that, even when Principal Nessie was like, "You're gonna sit here all day. You're gonna so that all the parents can just sign a sheet." And then that was when my first encounter with the fake endeavor happened. And yeah, and then when that was when Toshinori got back at me that time. I was literally not there for hours. Like the event went on the whole day. And then what occurred after it took even longer. So talk about spending I spent at least a good 3 to 4 hours over in My Hero Academia universe. On top of that, when I come back, I find that my time has either not really moved or it has moved a little bit when my alarm goes off. Or I've noticed that time has been somewhat pushed back. And I don't know if you guys believe in that sort of thing or not, but there is something like kind of like a time stop or uh, a time gap or time space. I don't know how it works and I don't know how to use it. If I did, I would freeze time. If I could freeze time, what would I do? I do a lot in that frozen time. Nothing bad, of course. Something mischievous, maybe a little bit, man, but I don't. But that there's definitely a time gap between the time I go there and when I come back. Because I find that I've only spent about an hour gone, but then all that time will be, yeah, it's like I spent hours there because it's like nighttime later. Okay, I'm gonna jump into what happened. I went back to My Hero Academia and I dressed as a lumberjack. Okay, I had on my overalls and I had on my I have this checkered shirt. I just showed it to you guys one time. I think I should have got it out to show you guys. I had that and I had my overalls, black overalls, and just black boots. I didn't dress completely like Butch because I wanted to still look pretty. So I just did my hair up in a ponytail and I went there and I figured I would go to the school and go talk to Principal Nazu and figure out what my class schedule was going to be. Because I'm going to try to jump back into the school dynamic. I'm getting more hours available to me now. My schedule is moving back to the way it was. I was working a lot and working a lot of like closing shifts, and I'd be too tired during the day when I got to work. And then I was shifting to these other places and things that I was not really trying to go to. And then I explained to you guys in my other video kind of what was happening. I kind of wanted to touch base on that again because that's really what's been happening. That's why I haven't been going there as much. So my energy's been being a little bit drained from the real world and from this real world and reality. I mean now, as opposed to my actual DR, unwanted DR. What is an unwanted DR called? UDR? I don't know. I'm not don't want to go there. You are. Yeah, it's that place. And I went there again last night. It sucked. I hate that so much. There's nothing I can do about it. So my schedule is switching back to normal, it looks like. So I have my regular steady hours, so I'll be able to do more videos because I'll be able to travel there more and tell you guys what happened. Also, I feel a little bit guilty because I know Frodo has not really been spending a lot of time with me, and I really want to be able to bond and connect with him. I feel like we have that connection, but at the same time, I don't feel like it's as strong as his connection with Endeavor or Hawks even. Him and Toshinori, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen them really interact with each other like that. I haven't seen him interact with Frodo as much as I like. I would love to see it though. Like, what if that was our child, Toshinori? This freaking bird. Damn it. Anyway, I went back there and I was still pretty and everything, And I walked up to the school and so Principal Nezu came out before I even came in, got a chance to come into the school and he's like, we're doing a fire drill. During a fire drill, we lock all the doors and we pretend like it's a regular day at school. Because I guess at UA they don't have the doors just open, they lock them. Now I'm always able to just walk straight into there. So I've always wondered about that. Like whenever I go to, um, because I'm a teacher there, I just walk in. I mean, I've never seen him lock the doors, but now he's talking about locking the doors and doing the fire drill. And he's like, we're going to go over the procedures you do when there's a fire. I'm like, okay. He goes, or during any emergency. And I go, okay. And he goes, do you know what to do? And I'm like, I'm going to be honest, I don't know what to do. He goes, why? You should know this. That was the first thing you got. When I gave you your pamphlet, when I gave you all that information, you were supposed to read over, you're supposed to look it over. What were you doing all that time? Were you just playing around with Toshinori or what? And I'm like, well, I'll go over it now and I'll look at it. He said, have a look. So I looked at it. It said that, okay, so one way in, one way out. But he said if that exit is blocked, you'll have to find another way. And there's several different escapes in the school. There's the windows. There's like something underneath the desk where you push the desk out of the way, and there's a tunnel that leads. If that blocks, there's another area. There's so many ways to get out of school, and people have quirks. They can just get out. Like me, I can just fly out, or I can get people out. Um, so it was very complicated too because the school had so many exits and things. It had a lot of do's and don'ts. And I was like, wow, I should have really studied this over. He said, yeah, you should have as a teacher here. And I go, I wanted to talk to you about that. I want to come back and I want to work during the week. And I want to work more than twice. And he says, are you sure you'll be able to meet that commitment? Will you be able to do it? Cotton candy doll. And I said, yes, I'll be able to. And if anything happens, I'll let you know. And he's like, I've been waiting for the moment for you to say you would come back. I was just waiting for it. I just knew you didn't run away from the school because of your mental problems. I'm so glad that you didn't let those things hold you back. I'm so glad that you're taking that step to move forward. Even though you're struggling and you're suffering with this disease, everyone will back you up. We all have your back, just so you know. And I go, thank you so much for sharing that information with me and for telling me how much you care. There's nothing mentally wrong with me, though. I don't have a problem. And then Principal Nesbitt goes, okay, that's great. So after you finish looking that over, come and meet me over in the courtyard. The courtyard is like the gym area. They had like a track and there's like a swimming pool. Like, okay, so the track was here and there's a swimming pool, like, so track, swimming pool, garage area, even though no one's driving. But I guess that's like for the teachers or whatever. I don't remember seeing that in My Hero Academia. Like, I don't remember seeing that in any of the episodes. So this was something completely new. I guess they built it. I don't know. He didn't say anything. He didn't mention anything about it. He just said, exit the parking lot this way, and you're gonna help me assist the kids. And so, like, we did our fire drill. All the kids. The school was filled with more kids than I thought. For some reason, when I usually go there, I only see Class A. There was a bunch of other different students that came out to the fire drill. All the teachers were instructed to get everybody out, and my job was to go in last and make sure no one was left behind or hiding in a building. I've had that happen to me before where kids have, like, when you get off the bus, if you're a teacher, make sure you go back on after everyone gets off. Check all the seats and check behind them to make sure no one's hiding. Because sometimes kids will hide because they think it's funny or they think you don't want to scare a kid. So usually when you tell them that we all need to leave quickly and we all need to leave in a hurry. Don't panic. Everything's going to be fine. Everyone get in line. And you gather them up and you get them all in line. You have your teacher that's in the front and you have a teacher that's in the back to make sure that everyone. So you make sure that you're the last one to leave out and there's no students behind you. You visually look around. And so, like, if you get off the bus and you accidentally left kids on there because they decided to hide, like I did once when we went to the park. And these aren't little kids. These kids were like 11 and 12 years old. They thought it was a good idea. They thought it was funny. And then before they knew it, the funny situation wasn't funny anymore, and they realized the bus is locked and they can't get off. So even if that does happen, my strategy for you is, because I did this is how I knew they were missing. When you get those kids to that spot, you do an attendance, you call them, you make sure that everyone replies and that they raise their hand. And then if anyone's missing, you'll know you need to go back and look for them because they obviously disappeared somewhere. And the first place you want to check is the place you left, because more than likely they're probably there hiding, or sometimes kids think, stuff like that is funny and they don't understand the gravity of the situation. Now, I know that in My Hero Academia, the kids are like 16 or something, 15 years old. These are teenagers. And so they know it's a fire drill. So obviously they're not going to take it seriously. But if it was actually, then they would be in big trouble. So, that's something to keep in mind. Like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like if I was a kid, I could put myself in their shoes. Nothing exciting ever happens. You're bored all the time. And then suddenly they're like, let's leave. Everybody stay together. And you think it's funny. You're like, let's go hide. And you and your friend are laughing because it's your friend. I mean, it's your best friend or it's whoever. You guys are laughing. You decide to go hide. And now your life is in danger because you weren't thinking about the consequences of what you were doing. So, like, some kids are like that. They're mischievous in that way. And honestly, you can't get mad at the kid because it's your job as an adult to make sure that they're taken care of. So any bad decision made by the child, oh, you shouldn't have did that, is technically you're the one at fault. So like that whole bus situation, that was my fault because it was my responsibility to make sure that those kids all left the bus because they're kids and kids are gonna think kids are funny. They're gonna think that way. Mine is gonna, you don't never know what's going through a child's mind. Anyway, I just went on a rant about kids. Oh God. Okay, back to what happened. Speaking of, we get back and all the kids aren't there. Some of them are missing. And guess who's missing, guys? Just guess. My good boy Midoriya is not there. Good, sweet, and innocent Midoriya is not there. He's not there. He's not in the group with the kids. Bakugo is not there in the group with the kids. So Bakugo and Midoriya are missing. Did not hear a huge explosion coming over from by the pool. So we run over to the pool and we see both Midoriya and Bakugo laying on the ground. And so we run up. Both of them are unconscious. So we picked them up. Visible Nezu, Aizawa came over. He like picked them up. He said, "I'm gonna take them to the infirmary. The drill is over. Just take everybody back to class. You can take care of that." And I'm like, okay. So I'm looking around. And I'm like, all of these kids, I don't even know what class they go to. Nothing. They can tell me anything literally and just go off, or they could be like, "Hey, Miss Cotton Candy Doll, so school is over, and it was an early day, so we get to go home." So yeah. Speaking of which, guys, that's exactly what happened. The kids, he told me to bring them back into the school. This kid's that bored. He had long white hair, like his eyes were like shining. I don't know how to explain. It was a shining blue. So it was blue, but it was like shiny, like diamonds or something. He's like, "Hey, after we go back, it's gonna be lunchtime, recess, and then we're going home afterwards." And I look around, I'm like, are there any teachers around to like confirm that this is correct? And I go, so you go home after this? After I'm like, it's pretty early. And they go, today was all basically just a day where we're supposed to practice like emergencies and we're supposed to practice like leaving and evacuating. We already know how to do that. Like, and everyone else is like, yeah, we're the hero school. We know how to do it. I go, okay, so next then, are we all going to go to the class? And they go, no, we're going to just go home. And I go, wait, you guys can't leave. Like, and you're like, we just told you it's going to be lunch. And everyone's like, yeah. And they're like, and then recess, which is just free time. And then we go home after. We don't have any classes left. This whole day, the reason we came today was for practicing evacuation. They said we technically didn't even need to be here today. And I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah. And they look serious. They don't look like they're playing. And the kids are older, so I can trust them. So I tell them, okay, you guys can go home then. Everyone go home. And they're like, bye, Miss Kind Candy. I'm like, bye. So they leave. I go into the school. Everyone obviously left, all the kids, everything. And I go, okay, so they're right. Everyone went home. I'm glad I have, a kid that I can actually depend on to tell me everything. I get over to Principal Nez's office. He's in there with his papers. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I go, so what happened with Midori and Bakugo? Are they okay? And he goes, apparently they were fighting. I don't know what they're fighting over, but they were fighting about something, and that's what caused the huge explosion. But I'm gonna have them clean up all the damage after. And I go, great. Well, I'm gonna go now. The Principal Nezu was like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm gonna leave now since all the kids went home. And he's like, I can't. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. He's like, why did you let the kids go home? I said, because today was only a day for evacuation. It was just to practice like emergency stuff like that. And then afterwards, it was going to be lunch and recess, and they were going to go home. He's like, did the kids tell you that? I'm like, yeah. He was like, did you believe them? I go, so they weren't supposed to go home then. He's like, no. They have like 4 hours of school left, but okay. I guess I can let them leave early if they want it. They even had homework and stuff probably. And I'm like, so sorry. He goes, well, I'm not going to blame you. You haven't been here, so you don't know. You just need to come back more often. I'm going to give you these assignments and I want you to put them in your room. So he gives me like these paper assignments and I take them over to my room way at the end of the hall, get in there and I put it in my classroom. I'm sitting in my class, like looking at this stuff over, and someone knocks on the door. And who is it? Toshinori. He comes in and I'm like, I am here. And he goes, very funny. And then he closes the door behind him and I'm like, and then he locks it. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, take off your clothes. I'm like, no, I have to do this assignment. Toshinari, I don't have time to play with you today. I'm sorry. Like, I have to do this. Maybe later when I'm done with this. And he's walking up and he's taking the papers out of my hand and he's puts his mouth over mine. He's like kissing me and like touching me and like and I can't resist. I start kissing him back and then so we're sitting on top of the desk on top of the papers he just gave me and I'm like, Toshinori, stop it. And I like hit him like and he goes, what? And I'm like, I have to do this work. I have to do this. Like, you're coming in here now. Because we only have a few minutes. Can you just be mine for, a few minutes? I'll make it worth your while. And he's like running his fingers to my hair. He's like, being flirtatious. And I'm just like, so I'm like, fine. And so then he knocks all the paper on the floor. He starts taking off like my overalls. I'm like, dang it, I dressed like a freaking lumberjack today. Like, you're finding me attractive, even though I look like this, like some kind of like person. Which honestly, like my goal, my dream, when I get older, when I retire finally, if I retire, I want to work on a farm. I want to raise chickens, and I want to have like a cow, and I want to have like I want to have a sheep and a goat, like one of every, literally one of every animal. A horse. Now horses require a lot of care, but so does all the other animals do. Like maintenance and everything is a lot. You gotta know what kind of fodder and all that. Okay, I'm getting off the subject. Anyway, he removed like all my clothes, and I was like, naked, lay down, so lay down, and I'm like, Toshinori. I'm like, we need to. I'm like, if what if Principal Nezzy walks in the door? He's like, the door is locked. Remember, you heard it lock. I'm like, right. So then he like enters me. He's like penetrating me deeply, and I'm kind of loud. I'm trying to like be quiet, but I cannot help it because I haven't had Toshinori in so long. It feels so good. So we're like moaning together, like like that. Like, oh yeah, that feels so good. And he's like, so then like he takes like his his shirt. He kind of like rips it. Rips his shirt, and then I'm like, and then like there's knocking on like somebody knocks on the freaking door, and we're just like, and it's a little person, so we're like, shh, it's a freaking kid. So he's like, just pretend we're not here. He's still like fucking me, and I'm like, stop it. And the door's twisting. And I'm like, God, like stop it. He's still like, finally, finally, he reaches his peak, and he fills me up with his cum, and it's like so much of it. It's like I'm like full of it, and it's like gushing out of him. It's like a waterfall. It feels amazing, and I can't help but make like this sound. And he does too, like a sound of relief. And he's like, "Have you had enough?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think I have." And I'm looking at him like this, and I'm like, "I hope you're Toshinori. I swear, I hope you're Toshinori." So he puts his clothes and stuff back on, and he's like, "I gotta go now." And he kisses me. So like now I gotta put on these clothes. I'm all dirty, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, that was Toshinari, I believe. I don't know what to believe anymore. I freaking live in the Twilight Zone, and like I kind of do want him to. I don't want him to go out the door because I want him because I feel like he's gonna know it was whoever was out there, some kid. He's gonna know it was either Midoriya or it was. I couldn't tell. Okay, all you could see was a little shadow of, but you knew it was somebody little, okay? And it wasn't Principal Nezu because he didn't have his shape. They kind of like, okay, so the door is one of those doors that like it's like a glass door, but it's not glass. You can see through. You can see people through the. You can't see them, but you can see part of their shape. So you know, like anyway, he leaves, and then but he goes out the door, and when he leaves out, he passes by one of the kids. I'm not gonna say which kid, and then he like closes the door behind him. And then I hear the kid's footsteps run away, like run away from the door. So they basically followed Toshinori when he left out. So I'm sitting there, I'm filling out the paperwork, and I'm just like, I hope I can come back here as much as I want to. And then I look up at the sun, I'm like, I think it's time for me to go. Like, I had a long day and like I got to spend time with Toshinori and like I'm like dreaming about him. And so then I leave there, come back, and I'm like, that was an amazing time we had. It was like the old times when we used to like secretly do it, like in the school. Like he has this flirtatious side back, and I don't know if it's because Fox is there. I don't know, but that means when I go back, I have to spend time with Hawks. I didn't see Frodo this time. He's with Endeavor, still healing from what happened. I did go back since then, though, and I'm not gonna share that video because um, I'm not gonna share that experience. I'm not gonna do a video on it because it was literally nothing. I went there, I saw Frodo hanging out with Endeavor, just laying on Endeavor like he always does, and Endeavor just hanging out with the guy, just together. They're two peas in a pod. It's so cute watching them together. Like he looks like he's like a real dad. He's like Frodo's actual dad. Like you would think if you didn't know where Frodo came from, despite Frodo looking different, blonde hair, You know, he has Hawks' eyes. You know, I feel like he doesn't really look like me that much. He does a little bit. He resembles me, but more so he does Hawks than anything. So it's like, I just went there and I just had a peek at him just to see how he's doing. I didn't stop to see Toshinori. I didn't stop to see Hawks. It was just about me spying on Frodo for a second. I do that sometimes. It's okay. I'm not causing any trouble. I didn't do anything bad. I just looked. So, and you know, Frodo's in good hands right now. When he gets a little older, I think that's when he should go back to Hawks, and that's when he should start being around him more because then he can actually start when he can actually verbally tell them what's wrong with him, or they notice. I think Endeavor would have noticed right away that it was a problem, and probably tried to take care of it or taking him to the hospital before taking him to the doctor. So that's what makes him different from Hawks and Toshinori's because he has that more of that because he is a father, so he knows. And I feel like that really helps too. So so that was my experience then, and I didn't want to do a video about it because, like I said, it wasn't really that long. I was literally there for a second. That would have been really a really quick video, like, hey, I went there and this happened, and then that's it. Bye. Like, no, I want to give you guys what details of like Intoshinori had me on the desk. It was like I was in like ecstasy. My feet were like dangling off the ends of it. He was like on the edge. So like I was on the edge of the desk, and he was like in me, like pounding me, and it felt so good, like every second of it. And he would get out, and I put my hands through his hair. My challenge now is to see. I want to see little All Might. I don't want to see. I like him the way he is. Okay, I love All Might, just how he is. But I really want to see what he looks like small. Like I want. I guess you have to reveal that side to me. Like he's seen every side of me. Like every side, every dirty side, a naughty side, a bad side, a good side. But I've never like seen him, and I want to see him. I just really want to. Yeah. My one of his kid was standing by the door, like, did he hear me? Or did that was definitely one of the kids. I'm sorry, that was either Midori or Bakugo. All the other kids were outside. Aminari, Momo, um, Koda, Ida, everybody, Froppy, who I haven't seen, El Chaco, like all of them were out there, and how they looked like they looked like how do I explain it to you? Very realistic. Let's say like everyone asks me how they look. Very human like, very but their features, the characteristics stand out a little more as a character than they would than you or me. Like if we were like I am in front of you now, like think of me as animated. How would I look? Would I look like this? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Um anyways, I did want to share that video with you. Oh, but I want to talk to you guys about Frodo's virtual party. So I'm gonna make a decision about when I want to do the date for that. It definitely needs to be on the day where I don't know, I gotta work early or I'm not working. I need to have it already planned and prepared. And that's what that board is there for an anime senpai too. But I definitely want to do a virtual party with like lights and stuff like that for Frodo, and I'll actually have pictures of him. I'm gonna draw some pictures. I'm actually gonna have time to do more now that my schedule is switched back to how it's supposed to be. I have like an extra time off in the week when I can work on stuff. So, oh, I was supposed to end the video, wasn't I? Yeah, I was. Yeah, yeah. It was nice seeing everybody again. I missed you guys. I'll do another video really soon too. Um, thank you guys for watching the video. If you like this video, then you can give this video a like. If not, and I'll see you guys in my next video then. Thank you everybody for watching. Bye.